Clint Eastwood is back, and this time around he's taking on the Olympic Park bombing of 1996 here on Rich Reviews. Hi there folks, welcome back, and I'm back from Cozumel, Mexico. I'm ready to review my first film back here, and it's Richard Jewell. And now, here's the thing, Clint Eastwood has been primarily behind the camera as of late, obviously in his later career than in front of it. And here's the thing, how does this stack up compared to some of his other recent directorial efforts? And I'll go into that. And basically, Richard Jewell is obviously the man who helped uncover Centennial Park bombing at the Olympics in 1996. How eventually the FBI and the press sort of made him into, in the court of public opinion, obviously, the villain. Played by Walter Hauser, I think that is. If it's wrong, I completely forgive myself for bungling that guy's name. And when it comes to completely well-known events coming from Clint Eastwood, this to me is on the par of Scully, though thankfully very in the basement is 1517 in Paris. I mean by Scully, I mean it's a nice, good biopic. That's practically what it is. It's not in the same possible league as Flag is Our Fathers or Letters from Iwo Jima. And I haven't seen Million Dollar Baby still, so my apologies for that. Basically, Richard Jewell, as portrayed by this fellow, is somewhat of an overzealous wannabe cop, or maybe categorically slow, or maybe a little bit dumb. I don't really know what the Richard Jewell was like. It's been a long time since that event, obviously. He helps save lives from the Olympic City Park bombing. The FBI, partially led by John Hamm, who's like, yeah, we have to look at everyone. Basically, you know, when someone discovers a body, we have to look at that person as well. Maybe that's true, I don't really know. We obviously meet Kathy Scruggs here, played by Olivia Wilde. Now, granted, some people have claimed that this film grossly vilifies Scruggs. Now, I don't really remember her at all in reporting all this. I don't know if a defamation lawsuit is going to bring any good to any of this. I'm personally a believer that a biopic can show any side of a person that they want, and Bill Ray is the screenwriter for this, and he's done marvelous work with Breach and other true crime story that I don't think a lot of people get credit for and seeing. But again, if someone is interpreting someone, it's time to pull up your big boy pants and shut up about it, basically. The one complaint I have about the Olivia Wilde character is that she comes to a late revelation that, oh yeah, Richard Jewell is obviously completely innocent, and it's not a remotely believable change of heart for this person, and maybe in real life she had come to the same kumbaya moment as well. Well, we obviously think of the press and FBI as, oh, the lines of truth. I mean, with the press uncovering corruption and the FBI always getting their man. Here is the obviously opposite side of the coin. Press, you know, there was the front runner, which no one saw. And if you want to see that, go see that. But that's obviously the press doing harm. And the court of public opinion is not as merciful as the FBI, I say at least. Obviously, we get Richard Jewell's lawyer here, played by Sam Rockwell, who's just as low-key as Richard Jewell is, who's not like, hey, look, the guy's fully cooperating. It's you that's making a mess of all this. When I think of the FBI, as I said, we think of all the do-gooders who fight valiantly for truth and justice in the American way. No, here they are just like, well, here are a whole bunch of facts that we think about, and we do believe Richard Jewell's the suspect. And eventually it was proven that Eric Rudolph, who's currently in ADX Florence, by the way, was the one who masterminded the bombing, and obviously Richard Jewell would like to have been there. Obviously there's a coda at the end of each, generally in a biopic, about, you know, what happens after. What Richard Jewell doesn't tell you is that Richard Jewell basically sued a couple of different newspapers, NBC News, and right after his death won a lawsuit against the Atlantic Journal-Constitution. And Janet Reno didn't he apologize for all this, and I think Sonny Perdue, shortly before Richard Jewell's death, obviously apologized to him as well. I don't really remember Richard Jewell that well, and maybe now I'll go back and take a look at some of the stuff that was obviously presented here. And so anyway, folks, what I'm going to say about Richard Jewell, this is an interesting but not all that significant biopic. So what I'm going to do, for some inexplicable reason, I'm going to give this a matinee rating, because if you really want to see this seek out and watch it. So folks, Richard Jewell, have you seen this? What did you think? I'm on Twitter for whatever reason. I'm Michael Richard Reese too. As always folks, like, comment, subscribe, enrich yourself with knowledge. I'll see you next time folks. Yes, hooray.